Right, so welcome back to another video on this channel, and Chelsea are well and truly safely into the League Cup final in 2022 after a 1-0 win over Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 3-0 of course on aggregate, and yeah, we absolutely bossed Spurs once again for 90 minutes, so we bossed them for 180 minutes plus at a time, probably about 190 minutes of football. We have completely and utterly dominated Spurs, and yeah, a 3-0 win on aggregate to show for that as well. And yeah, we are in the Carabao Cup final now against either Arsenal or Liverpool. Of course, the first leg of that will take place tomorrow night. And yeah, just a dominant performance once again from Chelsea. And in terms of how the game went, I think it was pretty similar to how the first leg went, to be honest, because I think in the first leg what happened was we scored that first goal. Obviously, the second goal was a complete fluke with the own goal from, I think it was Tanganga. And yeah, then after that, I think we kind of just, sat in our laurels, kind of just played for what we had, just passed it around, let the game just die out and held on to what we had, really. And I think that was the exact same case today. Minus, of course, the Poxy OG to put us 2-0 up. That 1-0, putting us 1-0 up from Antonio Rudiger from the header. A mistake from Galini, misjudgment to come out. Rudiger wins the header and yeah, kind of hits his back in off the crossbar. 1-0 Chelsea, and that pretty much kills the game dead and buried inside the first 20 odd minutes. So yeah, you can't really complain whatsoever. Then, as I said, like the first leg after the first goal, I think we just sat in our laurels and just stayed with what we had, just passed it around for a bit, just tied with Spurs, to be honest, and yeah, just settled for the fact that we were going to be in the Carabao Cup final now. And yeah, Spurs did give us a few scares. Obviously, they created a few chances. They got two, disallowed penalties and a disallowed goal. But overall, I think that they weren't threatening whatsoever. To be honest, I think Spurs were absolutely horrendous tonight, to be honest. I think this is one of the worst Spurs team, if not the worst Spurs team this season I've seen since probably pre-Poch times. Maybe Tim Sherwood. Maybe even this team is worse than that, potentially, you could argue. But yeah, I think, the main problem for Spurs, first of all, I'll talk about Spurs because, I can get onto talking about Chelsea later on in the video. For Spurs, in my opinion, I think their squad is just extremely weak. I think Harry Kane, especially not being on form this season, definitely doesn't help them, because for so many years now you could rely on him to score 20 to 30 goals a season. He doesn't look like that same player again, this season. Obviously the whole failed move to City has, in my opinion, played a part in that, definitely. Obviously Son was missing as well, so that's their main two, goal getters or, attacking outlets gone. Yeah, to be honest, I think the wing backs for Spurs as well, in Emerson Not So Royale and Matt Doherty at left wing back. Now obviously I'm Irish, so I like Matt Doherty, but he's not a left wing back, and even still on the right, he's been absolutely treacherous for Spurs in his time so far at Spurs. He hasn't really adapted whatsoever, even under Nuno Espirito Santo, who basically made his Wolves career in the first place, couldn't get the best out of him. So yeah, I think the wing backs today once again were absolutely horrendous. We've seen the stuff about Emerson, of course, how Barcelona were laughing because they somehow got 25 million for him, and honestly I share their laughter because I can't see how that footballer is worth 25 million pounds. He just, every time I watch him play, he doesn't offer anything defensively or offensively, and Doherty's the same. He was really poor tonight as well. And yeah, in a system, like Antonio Conte's, where the wing backs are so important. We saw in his time at Chelsea with Alonso and Victor Moses on the right, they were so influential going forward and creating chances alongside the front three, of course, which was Hazard, Pedro and Costa most weeks. And yeah, Spurs just don't have those same wing backs, those same level of wing backs who are going to create chances going forward. And you can definitely see why Adama Traore is really strongly linked with Spurs, because I think he would definitely offer them something in terms of an attacking output, because Adama Traore is, of course, lightning quick and can take players on as well. Question of his output, but he can't be any worse in terms of output than Emerson Royale, to be honest. Yeah, you look at the midfield as well. I think it's the midfield, pivot for them, I think, is too pragmatic, they sit too deep. You have the likes of Højbjerg and Winks who played today. That's two defensive midfielders, really, if you think about it. None of that are really going to create chances going forward. And then the centre backs as well of Tanganga, Sanchez and Ben Davies. I mean, that's just a really weak back three, isn't it? And then Galini in goal. Obviously, I will cut him some slack because he is the number 2 to Hugo Lloris. But overall, I mean, Antonio Conte, I would put my house on him, being diagnosed with clinical insanity by the time he leaves Spurs, because I can't see him firstly getting the money to repair the Spurs team, and secondly, I just can't see that ending well, to be honest. But that's enough about Spurs, because yeah, Spurs were absolutely horrendous. And now for what you actually clicked on this video for, which is a Chelsea fan's perspective on this game. And yeah, there's nothing really more I can say other than the fact that we completely dominated the game for the full 90 minutes, and yeah, just it went exactly how I described. We started off with a 4-3-3 by the looks of it, then once we scored the goal, kind of dropped back into a 3-4-3 and just retained the ball. And I think we did what we did best, really, which is game management, and we seem to have this unbelievable skill at managing and killing out games without without having to go for an extra goal. And yeah, maybe it didn't happen over December when we, dropped a few silly points and conceded a stupid amount of goals. But overall, in this Thomas Tuchel era, I think the best thing he has done is, his game management. I mean, we have an unbelievable skill, as I said, for just killing out matches, passing the ball around, retaining the ball. Every time we lose it, we win it back within the first 6 or 7 seconds. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that, the lack of fight really from Spurs' players, or the lack of, desire to win the ball back. But nevertheless, I've seen it on a consistent basis now under Thomas Tuchel during his time at Chelsea, where we are really, really good at retaining the ball and just letting games die out, almost like Mourinho at his first stint at Chelsea. But yeah, I think it's a very good performance overall from Chelsea, and we cannot complain because we now have yet another shot at silverware under Thomas Tuchel's era, and hopefully we can win that at Wembley on, I think, the 27th of February. But yeah, can't complain whatsoever. We need to now go on and win this Carabao Cup, hopefully. Yeah, in terms of standout performers, I thought Timo Werner was actually really, really good today, and actually looked like a competent footballer. And I am a big fan of Timo Werner since he came into Chelsea, and I think he does get a lot of unnecessary stick. But I think today his dribbling was really good. His first touch, two things you wouldn't really associate with Timo Werner being good at in his time at Chelsea so far. And yeah, I think he linked up really well with Romelu Lukaku up front, who I also think had quite a decent game when he was, needed in the game. I think Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic once again dominated the midfield battle. I thought Jorginho was really, really good once again, and Kovacic as well, who just is an absolutely unbelievable footballer. And you definitely see how much of a better team we are in terms of keeping possession with Mateo Kovacic on the pitch, because he's so good at just breaking through players, dribbling past players in deep positions and in tight spaces. And yeah, he's just an unbelievable ball carrier, Mateo Kovacic. I thought Malang Sarr had actually quite a decent game as well. I thought Antonio Rudiger had a really, really good game, obviously scored the goal. And please, Marina Granovskaya and Chelsea Football Club, please give this guy what he wants. Honestly, in my personal opinion, he's the best centre-back of the last year since Thomas Tuchel come in. And yeah, I just think we need to give him whatever he wants. And obviously there's optimism now growing inside the club that he might stay at the club and sign a new contract, which is obviously massively positive. But yeah, I think he is absolutely irreplaceable, to be honest, and I think we desperately need to keep Antonio Rudiger at the club, and yeah, hopefully he does. Obviously as well today, Kepa coming into the team because Edouard Mendy, for obvious reasons, is gone to Senegal, or gone with Senegal to the African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, I believe it is on. But yeah, Kepa I thought had decent enough performance, made 1 or 2 decent enough saves. There was 1 or 2 moments where he was a little bit patchy with his feet, but overall I think we can trust Kepa in the next few weeks while Mendy's gone, because I think he hasn't put a foot wrong really since Thomas Tuchel has arrived at the club every time he's got minutes on the pitch. But yeah, should be interesting. We go now to City on Saturday, and believe it or not, I think I am going to that game. So yeah, I'll be in the away end, hopefully anyway, fingers crossed, for Chelsea against City at the weekend. And yeah, really looking forward to that if that is the case. And hopefully we can get 3 points against Man City, and maybe, just maybe, start a little bit of a revival in the title race on Saturday at 12:30. So yeah, I think that's all we have to say in this video regards to the game. If you agree or disagree with anything I said, or just leave your comments on the game down in the comment section below as per usual. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, and also if you could subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, that would be massively appreciated, because we are looking to hit 1.8k subscribers on this channel as soon as we possibly can. And yeah, it costs you absolutely nothing if you do subscribe, and it makes my day. So yeah, that will be much appreciated, and I will see you guys in my next video, and yeah, I'll talk to you later.